for the children. Oh, hi everybody, Movie Music Theory here, but you can call me MMT for short. And in today's movie, we will be discussing how the music in Wandavision Episode 3 serves as a perfect period-appropriate ambiance, but also packs in loads of hidden meaning and subtext. Let's get into it. So, as you may have been able to guess, this episode continues our chronological progression through the sitcoms of history and lands us in the 1970s. Groovy, baby. The music for the first part of the episode is very period appropriate and includes a few new musical characters. The percussion section received a massive upgrade and now includes many of the 70s comedy instrumental palette, which, in all honesty, I don't even know what any of these sounds are. I'm assuming there's some cowbell in there, but yeah, let me know in the comments if you do know. As for the melody instruments, I can describe a little bit better because there is now a keyboard section, which the driver for this episode was the Rhodes, which is a type of electric keyboard which came to prominence in the 1970s, has a very gentle and lighthearted sound, but still has some depth to it. And then there's also a few kind of synthy instruments for that time, which were pretty out there by today's standards, but they were hot stuff back then. So that's that, and it's cool. The main thing, though, as I'll say again, and I've always said, is it's all about how you play it. So that template could be done for a lot of things, and it was what was used in most music during that time period, from film scoring to popular music. So anyway, the most important new addition to the roster of instruments in the score for this episode is my personal favorite instrument, the electric bass, which adds a much different character to the low end of the musical spectrum in this show and also helps a great deal in adding the element of rhythm in this episode, which we have not seen very much before. Now, this is all far out, or out of sight, as they would say back in those days, but that's not why I'm here today. What the episode does that the others have only hinted at, both on a story level and a musical level, is completely breach the bubble of this illusion or vision that surrounds the town of Westview, and finally gives us a good glimpse of the outside world and the outside party's intentions. Now, one might wonder how on earth, or Morag for that matter, could music properly illustrate all of that craziness? Well, it's pretty simple. The music for when everything is going as it should in Wanda's universe is completely tame and has no subtext or dramatic flair to it, whereas the music for when things are not going according to her designs and when we, the audience, get to see how crazy things really are, captures that intensity and drama. And that actually underscores the show as a whole, because, her in-show TV show, sitcom, is all fine and dandy, but what's actually going on is quite sinister, and that element of the score is what's so interesting, because you got to balance those two worlds, because there are two worlds going on at the same time. So, there are two key moments that underscore how the music accomplishes all of this. And the first one is when Vision starts talking about how everything isn't right.
I think something's wrong here, Wanda.
And the music suddenly takes an almost horror-esque, suspenseful quality to it, which is, of course, erased with that disturbing glitch in the Matrix. The second one is when, and this one is probably one of the coolest scenes so far in the show, because it's really starting to tear apart Wanda's universe, which, is pretty dramatic and crazy, but it's an important thing that's happening for the progression of the plot. And that moment is when Geraldine mentions Ultron, and we're like, what is going on? And the music in that portion is this driving bass beat and kind of rhythmic percussion thing. And there's one moment in that score right here.
She came here because
that sums it all up perfectly, because you have the funky 1970s style electric bass doing what's called a lick over top of this suspenseful music that's helping the audience see, oh no, this is not right, this is getting crazy. And they just come together, and it made me laugh. I was like, you don't usually hear bass riffs or licks or lines or whatever in film scoring. And don't worry, I got many plans for film music going forward. That's going to change. But right now, there are many bass licks in film scoring because it can be distracting. But in this time, while it's completely obvious and you're like, oh, nice bass riff, dude, it's also like, wait, what? How did that just happen in this horror scene, you know? And like, I'll call it horror because this is terrifying. And it's like the creepy type of terrifying where it shouldn't be terrifying, but it kind of is. So, good job for the show creators. Yeah, this is definitely unique stuff. But that moment just, to me, totally captures what's so cool about the score because it's combining the sitcom musical palette with the actual musical palette. And it's pretty impressive stuff. Which, with Geraldine getting ejected from the hologram and swarmed by a bunch of military personnel, or sword agents, blades? No, that's from Skyrim. Well, whatever they call themselves, it is now very clear that this story is not a sitcom, and I'm excited to see how the music reflects the change in tone that is inevitably on the horizon. Now, I know this all probably seems pretty crazy, but that's my superpower. So use yours and Hulk smash that like and subscribe button on your way out, and I will catch you in the next one. May the force be with you. Wait, no, that's not it. No, that's not it either. That's it. See ya.